Today we're going to talk about nerves, and I got to tell you, nerves is like the worst thing in the world. You could spin out and like you cry all the time because you had so much nerves, and everything that you wanted to do, you didn't end up doing because you were so freaking nervous. Well, that's because you're firmly in the room. The reason why I created the technique is because I had this like major thing about judgment in it, and it caused great anxiety for me, and I was so nervous all the time. I was always looking to them to validate me, and I wasn't firmly in the character at all. Guideline number 3 is, what is the character's emotional state of mind at the top? It's 90% of your scene. If the opening emotion is weak, you will fall out. And you'll be trying to find the emotion in the middle of the scene. You'll be chasing your scene the entire time. If you're not busy feeling, you're going to be busy feeling the room. And so that's why it's 90%. And that 90% needs to be set up in the waiting room. Nerves are so vital, guys. There's 3 things that you should be doing in the waiting room. The first thing is setting up guideline 3. The other thing you should be setting up is the environment, because the place will keep you safe. So you're not walking into a room, you're actually walking into the environment. So now the people in the room, if you're sitting on a porch and you're on a farm, now they're like cows and sheep and all that other stuff. And they're not even those people that are going to decide your fate and change your life forever. Because what do? That's what we're thinking of. We're thinking of the result. We're not thinking of the process. We're not thinking about the work. And I'm trying to get you into the work. Make them come to you. So if you keep going to them and say, please love me, I just want to give you what you're looking for, then you're only going to care about what they think, and that causes nerves and anxiety. Okay, guys, and also, what also makes you nervous? When you're not fully invested, you're busy on your phone, you're checking texts, something happened, and you get all emotionally charged. Your jump off is everything. Stop being distracted. Turn your phone off. Don't look at anybody. Focus. It takes so much discipline and focus. I had a girl that came to me for coaching. It was a huge callback for this huge job for this Marvel project. And she had talked to somebody who got her really upset. And so she wasn't focused on her callback. She was focused on the conversation that she had earlier that day. Well, she pretty much sabotaged herself. And I'm frustrated because we worked so hard to get her the call back, and she was totally on it. And what are you going to do with that? How bad do you want it, guys? How bad do you want it? You got to shut everything out. You have to be an Olympic actor. Shut it down. The only thing you should be worried about is your jump off and hit your middle, hit your end, get out. But know exactly where things are for you. That was really disappointing, I have to say. Create your opening emotion. Create the who am I relating to. Really take everybody out of the whole package. Just take them out. I don't mean kill them. I just mean take them out. The casting director is not there to help you. They're there to do their job. They're there to cast you. So come in with your party. All the party that are the guests. And one of the guests is the casting director that is no longer the casting director. The casting director has now become the person in your script. And make sure it's personalization to the umpteenth degree. Bring the energy of that person. If you're talking to your sister and it's really your sister, what is the energy of your sister? So you need to set up that energy in the waiting room. You need to set up your opening emotion. You need to set up the environment. And that's the only 3 things you should be doing. So you jump off and you're in the room. If any of you have ever run track or did swim meets or anything like that, as soon as the gun goes off, bam, you're off the block. If you're not off the block, then you're going to be trying to catch up. And those of you who have Meisner training and you're busy exchanging energy, what's great about Meisner, it gives you a juicy emotional vehicle. But what's bad about it is that you're exchanging energy. So you're expecting the casting director to give you the energy, and if that doesn't happen, you're going to get nervous because they're not there to give you anything. That's not their job. If they read fast, if they don't look at you, if they look down, if they read slow, or if they're busy looking at the camera and then looking at you, looking at the camera and then looking at you, they're doing what they're going to do. But if you're from a Meisner, then you're busy exchanging the energy with them and you're gonna be like, I just want them to look at me. And that's not what your scene's about. Just do the work. Create this place that you could live. You're like a one-man band and you're like bringing in all your people. You're the horn, you're playing the harmonica, you're singing, you're drumming the drums, and you are everything, and you are the gift that you are bringing to them. You are the emotional instrument. You are the work. And then you could leave it and say, you know what, I did the best that I could. I couldn't do any better. And if they don't give me the job, then it's okay. The times that you didn't do enough homework, that's the times that you're gonna think about for weeks on end. You're gonna call your agent and say, please find out how I did. But trust me, if you do your work and you know exactly how you're feeling, and you jump off into that room and you know what that environment looks like, and you know the feeling of all the people that you're talking to, you're gonna be busy feeling and doing. You're not gonna be busy picking up energy. And so I think that's like the biggest thing, guys. You're nervous because you're worried about them. What about you worry about yourself? Have them come to you. Have them ask you out for a beer. Stop going to them. Have them come to you. All right, guys, since I am you, okay, I am in the rooms with you, and you know, I go through the same thing. Honestly, if I don't do my own guidelines, I'm screwed. And one day I had this huge audition, and I only did a couple guidelines because, hey, I'm fine. No, I'm not. I mean, I created the guidelines for myself, and now I'm sharing it with the world. And if I don't do my own guidelines, I'm screwed, okay? And so I went to the audition, and I was fine. I thought I had it, right? And then I saw this girl with her hair on her head. She put it on top of her head, and I thought to myself, why didn't I put my hair on top of my head? Well, done. I should have just went home after that. And then I walked in the room, and what did I see? Instead of creating the environment for myself or my opening emotion, I noticed this lady on a couch. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this lady doing there? She's sitting here like this, like in a comedy audition. And I'm like, that's so unfair. I'm having this conversation during my audition, guys. Can you relate? I'm like going, why did they invite her? She didn't look like a producer. She didn't look like a writer. She just looked like somebody's friend. And she was sitting there judging me like this. And I'm like thinking to myself, who invited her? And the guy knows it's a comedy and she's being mean right now. And how am I gonna be funny with her meanness? Well, at that point, I was done. It was over. Honestly, I should have just said thank you so much and just left at that point because it was over. Because I noticed the lady on the couch. Had I had my environment, the lady would never have existed. Had I had my opening emotion, the lady would never have existed. Had I been working on all three things, the environment and all that in the waiting room, I wouldn't have seen the lady with the hair on top of her head. So if you get distracted as much as I do, you gotta do all this stuff if you want to book. I love you guys. So hit like, make a comment, and subscribe. Share it with a friend.